everyone! In today's video, I wanted to show you how I did this fall design. But before we start, you guys know that it's so important to always prep the nails. And I already done that, so now what I'm gonna do is these cuts on the side that you guys know that they serve me as a guide for me to know where I have to apply the acrylic. For today's video, I'm gonna be doing coffin-shaped nails, so that's the reason why I closed off the form a lot more than usual. And now I'm gonna start by applying the first bead between the natural nail and the form. And like you guys can tell, I'm using my brush to push the acrylic down until it's the coffin shape that I like. And now that I have this first step done, I'm gonna apply the last bead. And here what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna make sure that the entire nail is well covered. And here's how it looks like. And this is something that I always like to do no matter the shape of the nail, is that I wait a couple seconds until the nail is dried enough for me to apply some pressure on the sides. What this is gonna do is that it's gonna make the nail look more natural. When you guys are applying the form, something that you have to make sure is that it's symmetrical, because otherwise when you build up the acrylic nail, it's gonna end up looking crooked, and trust me, that's gonna ruin the entire design. And just like I told you earlier, I'm gonna be using my brush to slowly push the acrylic down until it's about L size, kind of. Today's tutorial, I'm gonna be doing pretty long nails, but if you guys don't like that, of course, you can always make them shorter. And now onto the third nail. A little tip that I have for you guys when you're doing acrylic nails is to always keep a paper on the side, because like you guys know, acrylic dries off by itself, so it's not only gonna dry on the nail, but it can possibly dry on the brush. And what I do to try to avoid that is that I keep cleaning the brush with some monomer. And now I'm gonna apply the last bead, and what I like to do is that first I connect it with what I already built, and then I keep pushing it upwards with my brush until it's near the cuticle. But remember that it's so important to never touch it or the skin, because what can happen is that can cause lifting. And now to finish up, I'm gonna start doing this last nail. Of course, I'm gonna close off the form just like I told you earlier, and then I'm gonna start by applying the first bead between the natural nail and the form. I like to do this because I feel like it makes the nail be stronger and it has less chances of actually breaking. And of course, I'm gonna keep pushing the acrylic down until it's the coffin shape that I like. And then I'm gonna apply the last bead, and I'm gonna make sure that the entire nail is well covered. Remember to wait a couple seconds until the acrylic nail is dried enough for you to apply some pressure on the sides. And this is how these acrylic nails look like. Like you guys can tell, they're not perfect, but that's why filing is so important. When I file nails, I like to start by filing the sides. And since this is a coffin shape, I'm gonna put the nail diagonal, and I'm also gonna make sure that it's completely straight so the sides don't end up looking curvy. And this is how the nails look like after filing the sides. Now the only thing left to do is to file the surface. You guys know that I like using my e-file for that, but you can, if you guys want to, you can use a regular one. And here what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna file down these nails until they're pretty thin. And also I'm gonna make sure that there's no bumps left behind. And this is how these acrylic nails look like. Now everything is done and we're ready to do the design. Before we start, I recommend you to clean off the nails, because after filing, there's always gonna be some dust left behind. You guys know that today's design is inspired by fall, so all of the colors are gonna be related to that. For this first nail, I'm gonna be using this really pretty brown gel polish. that actually it has this type of red undertone. I don't know if you guys can tell through the video, but this was also the first time that I used it, and I think that it looks so pretty. Of course, I'm gonna cure it for 30 seconds. On this second nail, I'm gonna use this really light gel polish that almost looks like white, because here I'm gonna be using other colors that I'm gonna tell you in just a bit. But basically, I wanted the base to be very light so everything can work together. And once I'm done applying this gel polish, I'm also gonna cure it. To make the next design, you guys are gonna need this really thin nail art brush, because here we're gonna be making a bunch of lines. And actually, this nail is gonna look a lot like a plaid shirt. So what I'm gonna be doing here is that I'm gonna be creating very thin lines with this really pretty electric blue. And the way that I'm doing this is that I'm almost not applying any type of pressure. And first I'm creating this guide line, and then I'm gonna go over it again until it's the same thickness. Also, the first thing that I'm gonna do here is these 3 lines on the right side of the nail. And of course, once I'm done doing that, I'm gonna cure it. Or I go ahead and I create 3 lines. This time they're gonna be around the middle of the nail. And the most important part about this design is that everything has to be very symmetrical. Like you guys can tell, I'm trying to make the lines be the same thickness. And I'm gonna try to leave the same space between them. I recommend you to go little by little and not to use too much product at once, because otherwise it's gonna be too hard to do this. And now that I'm done using the blue, I'm gonna start by making this thicker line on the left side of the nail with this really pretty burgundy gel polish. I feel like this combination looks really pretty. And then to finish up, I'm gonna do these other 2 lines, and one of them is gonna be on the top of the nail, and then the other one is gonna be almost right next to the tip. Like you guys can tell, it's going to be a little bit different because these burgundy lines are gonna be thicker than the blue ones. And of course, I'm gonna cure everything for about 30 seconds. And this is how this second nail looks like. I think it's one of my favorites. I love doing this type of designs. On this third nail, I'm also gonna start with the same base color. And of course, I'm gonna go over it twice, because you guys know it's kind of hard to use this type of light colors. Sometimes they end up being a little bit transparent. And here it's going to be a little bit different, because I'm gonna start by creating this type of French nail with the same blue gel polish. The first thing that I did is that I created this curve line, and then now I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 more. One on the left side, another one on the right one, and then the last one on the tip of the nail, just like I'm doing right here. The only difference is that I'm not gonna cover this French nail with blue. We're also gonna be creating this type of line design, this type of fall plaid shirt. And here I'm gonna start by creating the same 3 lines on the right side of the nail. Of course, I'm gonna go slowly so they can all be about the same thickness. And now that I have this done, instead of doing another 3 lines, I'm only gonna do this one very near the tip of the nail. And after I'm done curing everything, I'm gonna go ahead and use the burgundy gel polish. And of course, you guys know that these lines are usually thicker than the blue ones. And I'm gonna do 1 on the left side. And this time, instead of making another one, I'm gonna make 2. And this is how it looks like. Of course, remember to cure everything. And now we're almost done. The only thing left to do is to apply some color on this last nail. And of course, I'm gonna be using the same brown gel polish. And like you guys know, I'm gonna go over it twice until it's the color that I like. And then I'm gonna cure everything for about 30 seconds. And this is how it looks like. I love the combination between the blue and the burgundy. I think that it looks so pretty. But before we're completely done, I'm gonna be adding some of this top coat because you guys know that I like how shiny it makes the nails look. And it's also going to protect the design that we created, so it's gonna make it last for a longer time. So I'm not gonna be curing these nails just yet because I want to apply some crystals. But if you guys want to be done, of course you can finish up and cure it. I'm gonna be adding these two little diamond crystals on the brown nails because I thought that otherwise it would look too simple. And this is how the final design looks like. I hope that you guys liked it. I know that it can seem a little bit hard to make these lines, but if you follow step by step, I'm sure that you can do it as well. If you like this tutorial, if you did, please subscribe and like this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!